Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta get that back wall finished.
All right. How many people? Oh, we have 50. We have 56
right now.
people. Okay, I didn't mute you, but okay. Okay, we got a bunch of people logging on. Hi, I'm Erin with Straight Line. Thanks for logging on. We're gonna give it some time. Wow, we got a lot of people logging on right now.
Yep.
All right. Give it a couple more minutes for everybody to get on. Still a couple minutes before we're starting. Hey, Yuki. Who do we got? Who do we got logging on so far? Amanda Kroll, hey. This is exciting. It's nice to see our, people that we know. Holly, hi. We're streaming this live on our new Facebook group. So if you know anybody that wants to be on it, we have a new Facebook group that we did to streamline and consolidate everything into one group. Amber. Hi, Peter. I'm just going to start off right away. If you guys are chatting with us and you have questions, please do it through the Q&A. We won't be able to manage questions and stuff like that through the chat and Q&A. So if you have questions, please do it through the Q&A, not through the chat. All right, and now you can't even go to the chat, so there you go. All right, we are still waiting for people to get on. We had over 200 attendees registered. Right now we're about 145 people have logged on. So just gonna give a few extra minutes. Hope everybody's having a good Monday and you had a decent weekend. Any of you home with children, I feel you. I feel for you. I'm there. My husband and I is just trying to work and do all this stuff with our children. It's been wonderful. Jared Minsky, hey. Joe Slowey. Julie Brewster. Just giving you guys all shout outs. Hey, Meg. Graham. Oh, Meg I thought I said Meg Fitzgerald. I was like, woo. Hi, Michelle Fitzgerald. Nikki. Willie's on. It's great. We're almost there. Just waiting for a few more minutes and then we're going to get started. A lot of exciting stuff to go over.
We need some trivia or some
music.
We
need some trivia. Let's do some trivia.
Next one.
Who has stayed sane over the past 2.5 weeks? Definitely not me.
Jared's making fun of my sweater. I don't like that, Jared.
Did he just message you directly?
Yeah.
All right, we're almost there. I'm just gonna give it one more minute and then we're gonna get started because it's a lot of stuff to go over and I'm sure you guys have better things to go over than listen to my voice after this. Maybe not. I'm a pretty exciting person. All right, we're almost there. What are the trivia questions we have? So we're gonna do next time. We'll do trivia. We had 239 registered. So right now we've only had people 165 log on. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes. I know sometimes technology can be a little challenging for people to just get on, and sorry if you're just sitting there. just want to limit the amount of questions that come in if we already go over things if people haven't been on. Super exciting tax credits. Well, while you guys are logging on, while people are logging on, I just want to let you know that myself and my team have been working literally day and night to learn, following the CARES Act, the Families First Act, excuse me, trying to understand it. It's still very difficult for us to decipher 855 pages of the bill as to what it really means. There's a lot of interpretations going on, and but we are working really hard. We really hope in the next few days that there'll be a lot more resources available to us and to the public just to simplify the act and all the associated stuff going with it. I did just hear that there's a fourth bill that could potentially be up in the works to discuss extension of the dates for the CARES Act, which is one we're going to go over, maybe the second act, which is the Families First, as well as additional money. So as soon as we know about that, we'll get on top of it. But we are here trying to, and I do work with a very large group of, I have a national group of accountants, hundreds that have been working on this night and day. And then I have a small group, which is about 10 or 11 firms. And we've been literally talking day and night. We have a separate, Slack workspace set up. We have email, Facebook group, where we're all working constantly to decipher this bill and the laws and the loans and all that to give you guys the most accurate, complete information as quickly as we possibly can. So just know that we are 100% on your side and just trying to just make it work for everybody right now. Jake and I have been trading off childcare to do this so that we could have time to do it, but all right. I'm just gonna get going now. So as I said, we're gonna go over the CARES Act. The CARES Act was the third bill that was passed recently. Last week, it was signed last Friday night by President Trump. And it's very, very complex, 855 pages or so. Obviously, it's not all just to do with small businesses. There's a lot of other things in there, but we're focusing on the small business aspect. I am going to briefly go over some of the stuff applied to individuals, like the rebates, because I know that's going to be a question for a lot of people, but it's a lot of information I'm going to go over. A lot of it, I do, when I try to educate our clients and the business community, I do try to put it in language and terms that's not accounting-y or, not very complex, but some of the stuff I just can't, which is why it's so important that we recommend that our clients and the business community in general work with a professional and don't try to decipher this stuff on your own, because it is very complicated. And I'm being honest, if you make one wrong move right now by choosing the wrong loan or taking the wrong steps or not calculating some of this stuff for your loans, it could literally put you out of business. Whereas, even a few weeks ago, if you're taking all the laws that come into place, like the mass paid family medical leave in the, let me turn something off, in the fall, like those kind of things, they're not going to put you out of business right now. By taking the wrong steps, it really could, or you could be giving the wrong advice to somebody else. So please, please, please come to us or your accountant to work with this stuff. So with that being said, let's go. So just a little bit about who we are. We're an accounting firm. I'm actually, I guess, technically a third generation accounting firm. My parents started one, Harry Honan CPA, almost 40 years ago, took over their business. They still have their business they're running out of. And then my husband and I own Straight Line, and we have an amazing team. They are incredible, bookkeeping, tax, and all that. And basically what we do is focus on is helping small business owners, because while business owners start their businesses doing what they do, they don't know the business side of it. They don't know the financial aspect of it. We serve as a guide to help business owners make the right decisions to stay in business. And in this time of I guess, their business life is to truly stay in business and make it through the next several months and probably years. So we're here to provide education and tools, resources, and support so that business owners can become successful. And I've been doing this for about 15 years and, on and off my whole life since third generation accountant, which is really exciting. All right, so housekeeping items. All questions are to be asked through the Q&A section. Please put them in the Q&A. If they're in the, I think the chat's turned off, so we will try to periodically go through the questions and go over them. There will be a Q&A section at the end and people can ask questions live. You will just have to raise your little hand that you have and we will unmute you when it's your turn to speak and then we'll mute you back up. We will have the slides available at the end of this and you will get an email as well as some additional content resources. We also recommend that you join our brand new Facebook group. It's called the Straight Lines Business Owner Survival Guide. We're trying to find one place to streamline and organize pretty much all of our resources, webinars, everything into one place. Also, business owners can go in there and ask questions. We will also be starting to host Q&A sessions multiple times a week with B2B professionals and experts, as well as bring on some industry leaders that have been in their respected industry for quite a while. So restaurants or contracting, they've been through recessions so that they can provide their insight and feedback to other business owners and really help them. So we really suggest you join this Facebook group. I know you're probably part of lots of groups, but this is just probably really important for you. Want to keep on top of everything. All right. Agenda. So there's a lot of information to go over and I tried to consolidate it down to what I thought was the most important.
Catherine, sorry to interrupt you. Could you share your screen when you get a second?
Oh my God.
Thanks.
Sorry about that, guys. That would have helped. So the other stuff you didn't really need to know about, but so our agenda, we will be going over the individual rebates, those checks you hear about people getting, unemployment, touch on that. Then we will dive into the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP. You'll see PPP throughout a lot of the slideshow, including the loan forgiveness associated with it. Then the Economic Injury Disaster Loans and Grants, EIDL, will be referenced there a lot. And then what we know now and next steps, and then the Q&A, open forum. So just as a warning, like I was saying before you guys got on, the information is changing literally by the hour. Even though the bill has been signed into law, we're still getting information and clarification on things. It is not intended to be legal advice. I cannot give specific advice over this webinar to your business. You do need to set up a consultation call with us or with your own accounting firm.
Okay, we got Zoom.
Ooh, someone. I hope someone didn't hack our Zoom webinar like they did on other people's. So basically all the information we're giving you is what we know as of right now, and it literally could change tomorrow. This happened to us the last 3 weeks and it became quite frustrating for us. So that's just sort of our warning. All right, so let's get going. So individual recovery rebates. These are the checks you keep hearing about. They are available to, they're going to be based on tax filing statuses for 2018 or 19. So single taxpayers, people that file single, they get up to $1,200 rebate. Joint is up to $2,400 and additional $500 for each qualifying child that is under 18 years old. Your income, so what they're doing is they're basing on your adjusted gross income on your 2018 or 2019 return. I'll get into that in a minute. But the income thresholds are married filing joint, to get the full rebate amount for married filing joint is for $2,500. You cannot exceed $150,000 in your adjusted gross income. And then that amount of the $2,400 is phased out. There's a calculation that you'll get less and less up to your earnings of $198,000 or more. And then it's completely phased out. You do not get a rebate. So it's the same exact situation for the head of household. The max is 112. The phase out is 146.5. Single, 75,000 is your max, and then you don't get anything if you make 99,000 or more. I keep reading the Q&A questions. I'm gonna put that away for right now. And like I said, the rebates amounts will decrease as income increases. So individual recovery rebates. So this is what you have to be eligible. Non-resident aliens are not eligible for the rebate. If a taxpayer has an outstanding debt, meaning if you have an old tax that you have to pay, typically what would happen if you were getting a refund, the IRS would actually keep that and they would apply it towards any debt. I do not believe they're going to do this, like, also with student loans. I'm sure some of you know somebody that may have had outstanding student loan balances and their refund was taken one year because of a student loan balance. I don't know if that's the case. I'm assuming not. The other thing I do not know yet is if someone is in arrears for child support. I don't know if the recovery dollars will be used to offset that debt either. But what I do know is that as of right now, if you have an outstanding tax debt, it should not be used to that. You should still get the recovery check. How they're going to be issuing the payments, they're going to be direct depositing it into the account of the last return that you filed. So as an example, the last return I filed was an 18 personal return. I do not have that checking account anymore, but they're going to try to deposit it into that account for me. And if you do not, if they do not receive the funds due to a closed account, they have a special phone number set up that you're going to call to have the check reissued. We all know how government phone lines work. I'm assuming. I don't know how fast that will process, but that's what you're going to have to do. And you can't call them ahead of time to like notify them that your bank account is no longer valid. So they're just going to try it. It's going to bounce back, and you have to, I'm assuming, file some form. Also, like I said, how they're going to calculate the rebate is your adjusted gross income. They're first going to look at if you have your 2019 personal tax return filed. If that adjusted gross income, let's say you're married filing joint, is below the $150,000, boom, you're going to get the full $2,400 for you and your spouse. If it starts, going over that $150,000, you'll get an amount, but it'll be less than the full amount. If you don't have your 19 return filed, they will be using your 2018 return, and the same principles will apply. They'll be using your adjusted gross income. This is actually what we're using as a tax planning tool right now for clients, because in 2018, what we're doing is looking at 2018's return for those clients that have not filed their 19 personals yet and saying, okay, was your adjusted gross income below or above 150, the threshold for your filing status? And if it was above, okay, what does your 19 look like? Are you below the threshold? So if 19, you're way over the threshold, we're not going to file your 19 return until you get the rebate check, because it's going to go off of the 18 return. So this is something you want to pay attention to with your own personal returns. I know some people are pushing to get their returns out and they want their refunds, which I totally understand, but you really need to work with your accountant to make sure you're maximizing this rebate. This credit, these recovery checks will not reduce the refund on a 2020 return. I did just get an update about an hour ago from a resource I have that adjustments on your 2020 return will be made for any children that you had during 2020. So you might get additional money if you have a baby and you qualified to receive the check this year and you have a baby in 2020 on your 2020 return, if that makes sense. All right. So excuse me, I went too fast. Unemployment. So really quickly. So unemployment is an employee who's furloughed or partly off is eligible for state unemployment. So if you've laid employees off, I'm sure a lot of you have, they can go collect unemployment. And it usually what they get is between 30 and 50% of what their wage was based on like a look back period and all this stuff. Well, now, in addition to that, the feds are providing an additional $600 per week through July 31st. So as the example says here, if you're receiving $300 a week on your state unemployment, you'll also receive an additional $600 each week. And they're also going to retroactively apply it for when you, for people that have already been collecting unemployment for the past few weeks. I don't know how far back they're gonna go to retroactively apply that. I'm sure the details there somewhere, but I don't know the exact date. But I do know that if someone's already been on unemployment, they will retroactively date the $600 a week payment, and you guys will get a check for those weeks, those cumulative weeks of $600 per week. So one of the issues brought up with this is that in some states for employees, this will actually equal more than what they were making when they were being paid through their regular job. So obviously it's a great benefit, but it actually kind of causes a problem for some employers, because if people are on unemployment, they don't want to come back to work because they're making more money, and it is what it is. But the other thing I want to state here is that in Massachusetts, at least right now, a self-employed person, like a 1099 subcontractor, someone that is not on payroll, does not pay into the unemployment system, they are not eligible currently in Massachusetts to apply for the mass unemployment, but they are eligible to apply for the $600 a week one. So if you're self-employed, you can apply for the $600 a week federal unemployment. And my understanding is you still do it through the state. But I don't actually know anybody that's done it yet, and we haven't been able to find any guidance on exactly how to apply, but my understanding is it can be done. And I will apologize if I say we are not sure how this works. It's because we don't, and there's so much information involved. It's not that we haven't done the work, it's just impossible for us to know everything and retain it in the short amount of time that's come out, and some of it's not even available. Okay, we're gonna do some polling questions. This is just to give us an idea of what else we need to focus on for our clients in the business community. So Amber's gonna put those polling questions out right now. And we just wanna know, it's how have you been learning what about the loans? We just wanna get an idea. Oh, it's good to see. So while this is being said, I put a little video out the other day about this. While you guys are filling this out, I just want to say something really important. It is okay to ask for advice on Facebook about all of this stuff that's going on, but what you should be asking on Facebook is for resources to point you to the professionals that can help you, not asking like your best friend's grandma who used to do bookkeeping for somebody for advice. If you get the wrong advice, or if you're giving the wrong advice on social media or to your friends or whatever, you literally could put a business out of business. You could put a company out of business. There's these loans out there right now that are not eligible for forgiveness that I've seen people post that they are. The best resources to use are the professionals that are researching these loans and all these tax legislation right now. It is not a good idea to go on Facebook and give your advice or ask for someone specifically, how do loans work? How does a CARES credit work? It's my little PSA announcement. So we have about 55% voted. I'm fine with that. Amber, if you want to close it down. All right, so a lot of people are going on web articles, social media, TV news, friends and family. Apparently yours truly. All right, let's move on. All right, so let's get into the Paycheck Protection Program. So this Paycheck Protection Program is designed to keep America working. I would like to preface this with saying, if you, for example, are a restaurant and you have everybody on unemployment, this is not really designed to have you rehire all your employees and have them sitting there doing nothing. Okay, my personal advice, and again, it's a case-by-case basis, is to keep your employees on unemployment if there is no work for them to do. What this Paycheck Protection Program is there for are people that still need to work, but their cash flow has greatly decreased, or you do have your workforce, or if you had the money and you could rehire your employees back to do work because you have work to be done, then you can rehire them when you get the funds for the loan. That is what this is intended for. If you have people on unemployment, like I said, I really wouldn't just hire them back, just have them sit there. Unemployment is still a really good option. All right, so it gives funds. Basically, it's almost like an unemployment system through the employer and the federal government in a way. So it gives funds to the employers to keep employees paid during the crisis. So the loans are up to 250% of average monthly payroll costs, up to a maximum of $10 million. They can be 100% forgiven if spent in the following 8 weeks on specific costs. And for employers and businesses with 500 or fewer employees, employers and business with 500 or fewer employees, including self-employed and contractors, as well as nonprofits. And they must have either payroll expenses or net earnings to be considered as payroll. I did not put a slide in for self-employed people or contractors. I have two things to mention on this. First, self-employed people, or like if you file a Schedule C, you're a subcontractor, 1099 person. The way we understand it right now, I was just finally notified this morning, is that to apply for this, the calculation of the loan is actually taken off of your net income off your 2019 tax return or your 2019 financials. So if you're a Schedule C, you're self-employed, maybe you don't have an S Corp yet, you don't payroll, you're gonna look at your 2019 Schedule C or your 2019 financials, and it's your net income. Your net income is you have your revenue, which is the top line, people call it. You have your expenses, depreciation, all that. Then you have your net income or loss. Unfortunately, in cases that I've seen, most Schedule C people do not show a huge net income. Most of our clients, if they are showing quite a bit of a profit on their net income, they're already converted to S Corps for the tax savings reasons. So the problem is a lot of people that try to keep their income low on their Schedule C to save money on tax are now going to be kind of screwed when it comes to this. I would recommend filing your 2019 return if you do want to apply for this program, and working with an accountant to make sure you're doing it properly. If not, you're going to have to provide financials, profit and loss, and balance sheet as well to apply for the loan. But this is where the applying, if you're self-employed or a subcontractor, might actually be better to go through, excuse me, unemployment versus doing this loan. Excuse me. So also the other thing I want to talk about is 1065 partnerships. There is nothing in the the bill or anything that discusses 1065 partnerships. 1065 partnerships, the owners or the partners are not on payroll. They actually receive what's called guaranteed payments. So we have no idea how to handle those. I'm just going to put that out there right now. So a lot of partnerships are attorneys, some smaller partnerships, but right now we have no idea how to handle those. All right, to be eligible, you have to be a business or a nonprofit with less than 500 employees, includes full-time, part-time, or other. Affiliation rules are waived. That means if you have a company and you have multiple locations under one, those rules are normally you have to lump all those locations together. This is waived. So if you have multiple locations, each location is seen as a different entity, basically. You must have been business on or before February 15th of this year, 2020. It does include sole proprietors, independent contractors, and eligible self-employed people. All right, so how do you calculate the loan? What do you use to calculate the loan amount? You're gonna use payroll costs, all right? So they define payroll costs as wages, salaries, commissions, or other compensation, tips, cash or equivalent, vacation, parental, family, or medical leave. So if you paid maternity leave for someone last year, PTO, allowance for dismissal or separation, so that severance pay. Also includes payments for health insurance premiums that you paid on the employee's behalf, payments for retirement benefits. And then the only taxes you actually include in the calculation of this, again, this is where it's going to get accounting-y, and I understand if you don't know what I'm talking about, but it's state and local tax assessed on employee compensation. So what that means is, especially in Massachusetts, we can have a very high unemployment rate, one of the highest in the country. The rating itself, not unemployment rate, but so that's called SUTA or MUTA, mass or state unemployment tax. That is what can be accounted as lumped into all these costs. And also Massachusetts, as you know, we have lots of other stuff. We have the EMAC penalty, which a lot of people paid last year. And we have the MAPFML. So if you're over 25 employees, you should be contributing on the employee's behalf. And so that's included in the count as well. It does not include the employer portion of the federal taxes or federal unemployment tax. So it does not include the 941, which is Medicare and Social Security, or 940. You can also include payments to a sole proprietor or a tenant and contractor that's an individual. So if you hired someone, or for example, if I outsource our work to an accountant and I paid him by 1099, not really supposed to in Massachusetts under the 1099 rules, but anyways, I could actually include that as part of my calculation. And there's been floating around about the $100,000 maximum per employee. If an employee is paid over $100,000 per year, you include their earnings up to $100,000, but not over. So you have to exclude the earnings over $100,000. Again, I understand this is complex and you're probably just like, what the hell is she talking about? But this is why it's so important that you don't try to do this on your own. Because I've worked on this hours myself and it's still very confusing. All right. Here we go. So I already kind of went over some of the stuff. The payroll costs do not include employee compensation over 100 grand. If they live outside the US, that you can't count them. And then taxes are imposed under these IRC things. I have to put it in there. Most people don't qualify for it, but I have to put it in there. Okay. So calculation of the loan size. So it's 250% of average monthly payroll costs. So if you're an existing business and you've been in business for the past 12 months, your maximum loan amount is equal to 250% of your average monthly payroll costs, those costs I defined above in those other previous slides, the health insurance, all that stuff, during the 12 months prior to the loan origination date. We are assuming they mean loan application date because you're not a genie and you can't guess the future, but so loan application date basically. So what I'm gonna do for my company as example, I'm gonna go look back at so April 1st, 2019 through March 31st, 2020. I'm gonna pull that information, okay? If your business employs seasonal workers, you can use the time period above I just mentioned, or you can opt to use these other time frames. So February 15th, 19 to June 30th, 2019, or March 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2019. Obviously, we're in Massachusetts. Our seasonal businesses, I mean, except unless you're an accounting firm, that is not our busy time. So I personally don't believe that actually captures the true amounts. I think if you've been in business, if you're not a new business, you should be using the 12 months, not these weird times. They must have been thinking everybody has seasonal businesses that's in Florida or California or something like that. And then if you were not in business for the past 12 months, your max loan value is equal to 250% of your average monthly payroll costs between January 1st of this year and February 29th of this year. So remember, you had to have been in business by February 15th to even be eligible for this. So if you unfortunately started a business at the beginning of this year, you have to look at your payroll costs between this time period. I'm just gonna look at I'd say look at the Q&A, but I think it's gonna be too overwhelming. So I'll keep moving. So I just wanted to give an example here. So my dates here, like we said, I'm gonna look back at for April 1st, 2019 through March 31st, 2020, 12 months. So all of my costs add up to 15 million. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? And then 12 months, so I'm gonna divide it. I'm gonna divide that 12 months by 15 million by 12 months. And then I'm gonna multiply the 1.25, and that's gonna give me that 3,125,000 is gonna give me my payroll cost, my eligibility for the loan amount, okay? So because it's under the 10 million, I should be eligible for $3,125,000. Because their payroll is so high and they have such a much bigger business, their factor here is 12.5 million. They're gonna get 10 million because that's the max. C is not even eligible because they have 800 employees. All right. Okay. All right, I'm gonna keep going. So we're gonna do another polling question. We just want to, again, gather some information for everybody. Okay, so I'm gonna go.
Can you hold on? Can you hold on just a
I was
second?
gonna go over the Q&A stuff really quick. Why? Okay, go ahead.
That's why, because there's
Okay, I'll look at them really quick.
So I don't know if you listened to it, but Pepper sent a webinar that was about 20 minutes long related to pushing out the release date of the funds once you've been accepted, once your application's been accepted.
Okay.
So Heather just asked, she's
Heather Casey, okay.
running a restaurant and they're a few weeks out from reopening, obviously, because everyone's shut down right now. From what I know about that, basically there should be an option to postpone the actual receiving of the funds once you've been approved. So if they push out the shutdown or the quarantine out past 4:30, which looks to be the case right now, there should be an option to push out
The payment.
the release of the payments, if that helps.
And,
Heather, I'm
and
not sure if that answers your question, but.
also to be clear, you don't, what was I gonna say? Oh my God. I forget. I should have brain fart. It's okay. Excuse me. Sorry. Sorry, I went too fast. I was going to say, once you receive the proceeds from the loan, right now you have to spend it in 8 weeks. So that's actually a really good question by Heather, because you can't like spread it out for 6 months. You have 8 weeks right as of right now to spend that money. So if after the 8 weeks ends and you don't hit that, like the 100% forgivable and expenses amount, it won't be any expenses you have after that won't qualify. Let me just, everyone, health benefits for collecting unemployment. So you can still, so the health benefits, if you still as the employer continue to pay the health benefits for your employees that are furloughed or on unemployment, you can still continue to pay it and not have them go on COBRA, and they will be eligible under the forgiveness. Is that your question? Does the paycheck protection count towards medical leave payments to employees? So if you're going to do that medical leave and then you're not, so there's another, like I said, the Families First bill where you could do paid medical leave and then you get reimbursed as a credit. You cannot do them together. You can do one or the other, but if you're doing paid medical leave and you're not trying to get reimbursed, do the 100% credit through the Families First, you could do that because you're just paying them. I think that was your question, Ed. The page, I don't know when the extra $600 per week will start. We're looking into that, but we'll add it again to the question. It's supposed to be right away, but this just passed Friday night. Brian Galetta, you spoke to sole proprietors with LLC husband wife partnerships. That's what we don't know. Brian Galetta, we don't know about 1065s. Many of my employees are collecting unemployment to reduce hours. They're still working for me, just a reduced schedule. Okay, Catherine, I'm not really sure what the question is. Can your employees be on unemployment and get PPP for health insurance payments? Yes, I just answered that. Paige, I just answered that for you. What if you're a sole proprietor that hasn't been in business for the past 12 months? Okay, sorry, someone keeps cleaning it up and the thing keeps moving. Do you still use your net income off of 2019 books or schedule, or would you use January, February 2020 income? Well, I guess it depends on Garrett. I guess it depends when you started the business. So yeah, if it sounds like you're a new business, I would use January and February. How does a max cap of $100,000 work on the payroll in this calculation? Basically what you do is when you look at your employees' figures, the payroll totals, let's say I made $150,000 in that 12-month look back period. I'm only going to put in the amount of $100,000. I'm not going to put $150,000 in. So you just pretend every employee or any employee that makes over 100K you only put in to figure out the loan amount, the 100,000. Yuki, I hope that answers your questions. Sorry, I'm just looking. Okay, I'm just going to continue because there's a lot of questions and then we'll go over the questions at the end or again. All right, so there's been a lot of confusion about what type of SBA loans are actually eligible for forgiveness under the Paycheck Protection Program. There is only one. It is not the disaster loan. It is not the 504 loan. It is an SBA 7A business loan. And it is not available yet to apply for. So I'm going to say that again. The only loan eligible for forgiveness under the Paycheck Protection Program is the SBA 7A business loan, and it is not ready to be applied for yet. Last week, I don't know if you guys were trying to go on the SBA website, it was down. A lot of it was down. We had this theory that it was because they're trying to prep to be able to have people apply through the 7A for the 7A. That was actually what was going on, but then they changed their minds kind of last minute, to my understanding. And typically if you apply for a 7A loan, you have to go through a third-party lender. We thought they were changing it through SBA. They actually changed their minds back and they want you to go through a third-party lender or a bank. Now, there's been a lot of talk about what banks are eligible as far as, because it's a 100% guarantee-backed loan by the government, basically any bank or lender can opt in, and they might even start doing it's called emergency funding or something like that, even through places like American Express. All right, so they're gonna have to be applied through a third-party bank or third-party lender. I will talk about how to apply in a minute. The max loan term is 10 years for whatever is not forgiven, okay? The max loan interest rate is 4%. And then the principal and interest and or payments will be continued to be deferred 6 to 12 months after the disbursement of loan. I don't know who's deciding what's 6 or 12. It might be the lender based on risk and whatnot. The maximum loan amount is $10 million, and you can only apply for one PPP loan or the 7A per entity or tax ID. Okay, so keep it going. All right. So under this, which is a little different, there are no personal guarantees. So we don't know if also, because we can't apply for them yet, we don't actually have the documentation available to tell us what is going to be part of the application. I'm really hoping that comes out in the next 2 days for obvious reasons. But as of right now, we know there are no personal guarantees. So we don't even know if they're going to require personal financial statements, which is part of like the EIDL loan, the economic emergency disaster loans. But they might, but might not. I'm not sure. There's not going to be any SBA lending fees. Sometimes when you get SBA loans, the fees can be kind of high. You're not going to need any collateral to guarantee the loan, so they're not going to require assets to guarantee the loans. And you don't need to show ability to obtain credit elsewhere, but you must show the ability to pay the loan. So that's why financials are going to be asked for and things like that, to my knowledge. Okay. So once you get the loan, the 7A loan, to be eligible for forgiveness under the PPP, you have to spend the funds the way they're intended to be forgiven. You can use the funds and use them for other items, but they're not going to be forgivable, okay? So the payroll costs, as we already defined them, all those expenses before, to determine the loan amount, they also relate to the continuation of the healthcare benefits during the during the period, the 8 weeks. Includes employee salaries, commissions. It also includes payment of interest on any mortgage obligation, but it does not include any prepayment or payment of principal on a mortgage obligation. So if you have a mortgage, it's going to forgive any interest that you paid, which means you're going to need detailed records on your interest statements, on your mortgage statements, rent. So if you pay rent or have a lease, utilities, and then interest on any other debt obligations that were incurred before the period. So if you have equipment loans, auto loans, those kind of loans, all the interest on that is going to be forgiven as well. So documentation is really, really going to be very important for when you actually apply for the forgiveness of the loan. I need another drink. I said to my team, I can't believe it's hard for me to talk so much. I never thought I could stop talking. All right. So calculation of loan forgiveness. Forgiveness can be up to 100%. So the contingencies there also obviously you need to spend them where the funds are supposed to go, okay? So all that stuff I just listed. Also, you must maintain the same level of employees as compared to either the look back period of February 15, 2019 through June 30th, 2019, or it's at the, my understanding, at the borrower's choice or election. They can also look back at January 1st, 2020 to February 29, 2020. So what that means is, if you have this, let's say I want to look my look back period, I'm going to look at January and February of 2020. If I get this loan, when I get the proceeds of the loan, I need to have my count of employees, full-time count employees, match equal to or greater than the amount of employees I had during January through February 2020. Or if I choose the other period in 2019. If you do not, so let's say you had 10 full-time employees in January and February, and now you're going to have 5 full-time employees, your forgiveness is reduced about 50%. So it's kind of, there's a formula to it, but you will not, you have to have the same level of employees. I know people are like, well, what's the point then? What I think is you still have your, you can still cover other costs, and you can still put away some of this money because you're going to need some cash anyways. Maybe not all of it's forgivable, but the interest rates are so low and the payment terms are so great that maybe you can't bring back all your staff, but it's worth it to have the loan to pay for the other stuff too. All right. So how to apply for the loan forgiveness. So once your 8 weeks is up, my understanding, you have to apply through your lender that you got the loan on for the forgiveness. In this application, you must include, and I don't think the application's out yet, I'm assuming not, don't mind the typos. Documentation verifying the number of employees on payroll and pay rates, including IRS payroll tax filings, state income payroll and unemployment insurance filings. So what does that mean? That means if you're doing your own in-house payroll or you are not keeping good records, you need to start immediately. And the other thing is they're going to compare it to prior periods. So you're going to have really good, you have to have good records prior to taking on the loan as well. You're also gonna have to have documentation verifying payments on all the other things I mentioned, the mortgage obligation, lease obligation, utilities, the health insurance, meaning I've read through the list. They want canceled checks or drafts showing from your bank statements. So super important to keep really good track of your records here. They're also gonna have a certification from a representative of your business or organization to certify the documentation provided is true. I don't think they're going to have some type of program that people can apply to and become these certified people to approve. I think what is going to happen is just the business owner is going to have to sign a piece of paper that says that it's true. All the stuff they're giving to them is true and it's not fraudulent. So let me just go through the questions because I'm going to move on to the next topic, which is the EIDL loans.
Can you, sorry to interrupt you, but we're getting this kind of a theme with some of the questions related to employees that are already collecting unemployment and the PPP loan.
Okay,
So
if you have employees that are currently on unemployment, and we have, at the end of this, we have like next steps to take and what we think you should do in between now and getting the loan. But if you have employees that are on unemployment and you do not have work for them to do, keep them on unemployment unless you have work for them to do when you get the funds. So you do not want to bring people back to work. If you do have work for them to do, you don't want to bring them back until you get the funds, okay? So owners can also go on unemployment as well, if you've paid into the unemployment system through your state. If you have not, owners can go apply for that $600 a week. So there is an option for owners and employees. Keep your employees on unemployment for right now, and owners can go on unemployment, and then you can rehire people back when you get the funds of the loan if you have work for them to do. If you're the owner and you get this loan, you probably want to put yourself back on payroll. But that's an individual case-by-case basis, and you should talk to your accountant about that for definite things. I think that answered Shelby's question. I'm just reading. Okay, so can you explain the 8 weeks to spend it more? Does that mean 250% total have to be sent? I'm lost on those numbers. Yes, so as of right now, the loan amount is 250% of all those expenses we discussed. So once you get the loan amount in, you have 8 weeks from when you get the money to spend that money on the forgivable expenses. Because they did 250% because they didn't want to get all your rent expenses and all that right away to apply. They wanted you to verify it on the back end when you go to apply for the forgivable side. So I think their number was 250% is a safe way to cover all of these other expenses like insurance premiums, rent, utilities, interest, and stuff like that. So yes, as of right now, you have 8 weeks to spend the 250%. Can they still get $600 a week even though they're still working? I'm not sure on that, to be honest. I don't know exactly how that will work about if someone's still working and they're just getting partial unemployment. We can look into that, and we're going to provide an email after this, after our with our answers. If we elect to take the tax credits for emergency sick leave, can we also do the PPP? You can do the PPP, but you cannot use the amount of payroll that you used for the tax credits for the emergency sick leave as figures to count towards the PPP. I hope that helped you, Laurie. Can employees collect unemployment until my business is approved for the PPP loan? Yep, Peter. Yep, that's it. Yep, absolutely. They can collect unemployment. Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of people had that exact same question that Pete just asked.
Okay, Michael Aston. I'm floating my payroll now, but the employees aren't working. Can the loan be used to reimburse our payroll? I haven't laid them off yet. All right. So my understanding it can be reimbursed, but here's my suggestion, Michael. I understand you're trying to do right by your employees. and they're not working and you're trying to float it. We have a couple other clients who are doing the same thing. I do not recommend it. We do not recommend, if you don't have any money coming in, you're going to need cash later on. If you have the money to pay these employees, you really need to keep that money in the bank and let them go on unemployment. The benefits are good benefits. They're going to get the state unemployment plus the $600 a week. Trust me, I am number one for supporting, employee culture and all this stuff, but you cannot make yourself broke right now to make them happy for short term. You have to lay them off. That's my opinion, my advice. And then when you are able to hire them back and use the loan, you can. But that's just my opinion. I would not keep people on unemployment. If you guys are not working, you have no money coming in, but you happen to have some cash to pay them, save that cash and lay these employees off. This is why these things are there, and that's why they're adding the extra $600 a week. How does bankruptcy affect these loans? They do affect the EIDL loans. We have not gotten a hard answer about the 7A loans. That's one of my big questions. We asked it all weekend to our accounting group. We didn't come across it. Honestly, I'm assuming, I'm assuming this, okay? Even if you filed bankruptcy in the past, I don't think it will exclude you from qualifying for the PPP loan. But I could be wrong, but because there's no personal guarantee on these, I don't know if bankruptcy will exclude you from getting the loan. We are working on trying to get that answer though for specific.
I was looking into that. I think there are some options available for people with prior bankruptcies, but I haven't seen anything yet will be definitive.
As soon as we have like the application process, and I have a direct contact with the SBA, with an SBA lender. I've been waiting to email her till today. Does the 7A loan cover the employee paid part of the health and care and employer paid as well? Yeah, it covers. So if you have a payroll and your employees are still on payroll and you're deducting health insurance from them, it's covering 100% of their payroll. And then it covers the employer portion. So like if you laid them off and you're still paying the health insurance, it would cover the 100% of the premium. But since it's already being deducted from their payroll, it's covering, yes, the answer is yes. Yes.
Erin, just to be clear, you said that in the calculations, it's only the employer side.
Yes, but
then when you actually get the forgiveness, it can cover all of it.
But yes, but if you're paying people and you're deducting from their pay, that in essence it covers it because it's part of their pay. Like this is a tax thing. So you have their gross pay and you deduct the health insurance, you're covering their gross pay, which includes their portion of the health insurance. So in essence, it does without separating it out. I know it's kind of complex. Let me see. So there is, Hans asked a question, are there any restrictions on increasing employees, I'm assuming he meant to pay above existing time of loan. So there is a provision that you cannot just start jacking up employees' pay rates. I think it can't exceed 25% of like the prior quarter pay. So like this is especially important for owners of S corps and people that are on payroll. We can't all of a sudden just start taking $100,000 paychecks in the next 8 weeks just because it's going to be forgiven. So it is limited, and that's why I say they are going to go back and analyze old payroll documents. Hold on, I'm just kind of sorting through these questions. All right, I'm gonna keep going because I am. All right, so the economic injury disaster loans and grants, EIDL. This is what people saw prior to Thursday of last week. The SBA, basically the disaster loans that people were like really getting aggressive in applying for. And we actually thought this would be part of the forgivable, and then it came out they weren't. So this is separate. The EIDL loan is separate from the 7A loan, and it is not eligible for forgiveness under the PPP, okay? And this loan can be applied directly through the SBA. They did, we just logged on this morning. The SBA did update their website, so the application process is a little different. So what they're for businesses and nonprofits with 500 or fewer employees, they have lower interest rates. The the economic injury disaster, it was 2.75 for nonprofit and 3.75 for for-profit. And there is available for interest, principal and interest deferment up to 4 years. That's what I read. I don't know how you qualify for that, but that's available. So they're available to pay for expenses that could have been met had the disaster not occurred, because these loans have always existed. They're not new to this coronavirus issue. So it includes payroll and other operating expense. However, so you can apply for this loan in addition to the PPP loan. However, the funds, the proceeds of the loans cannot be used for the same purposes. So you cannot get the economic injury disaster loan and pay for it with payroll and then get it forgiven through the PPP. That it doesn't work that way. You have to use it for other expenses for your business. So marketing, buying product, whatever. But you can, there's been confusion on this. You can have both loans together, apply for both, but they cannot be used for the same purposes. Okay. All right. So people keep asking me about the grant, the EIDL grant. So what it is you have to apply for the EIDL loan in order to request this grant. It's actually an advance of the funds. So what it is, an emergency advance up to $10,000 to small businesses and private nonprofits harmed by the COVID-19. So you also do have to show economic hardship. So if you're still in business and you're killing it, or you're just really not affected by this, I'm sure most people could show economic hardship right now. It's arguable. Even us, even though we're fully staffed, we're not doing our normal work, and we have to push off things. But anyways, so you just have to show that the funds are supposed to be available within 3 days of applying for the SBA EIDL loan. But to be clear, to access the advance, you have to first apply for it and then request the advance. And I do not know how they get it to you within 3 days. I'm not sure. And the advance, hence the name grant, the part of the grant, does not have to be repaid under any circumstance. However, if you also get the PPP loan, the advance that you receive will be subtracted from the amount forgiven in the PPP. So if you get this and you're eligible for, if you get this, you get the $10,000 grant, and then you get a PPP loan. And let's say the PPP loan is 100 grand and you would be 100% forgivable, but you got the 10 grand first, the forgivable amount's only gonna be $90,000. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So it is there, but so actually, I guess I will say about these loans, I'm gonna first. So these loans are still there to apply for. They are pretty complex to apply for. This is what we had started our clients and informed them about and developed packages for them. They're very, very involved. They do require a lot of information. However, with that being said, I still think it's a good idea, even if you're waiting for a PPP loan, I still think it's a good idea to apply for these loans. The interest rates are very, very low. The payment terms are very, very good. And a lot of businesses who would otherwise not be eligible to apply for a loan at this, normally, because either they haven't been in business long enough or whatever, they will most likely become eligible for these loans. So just to have the cash available to get you through however long you need to is going to be invaluable. So it's a quote unquote cheap and easy is really, it's not really easy, but it's a good way to get funding. And it might take a little while, but at least you'll have some extra cash sitting there with a low interest rate. And this might be, especially for businesses that might not qualify for a loan in another circumstance. If you've ever applied for a loan under normal circumstances, normal economic environment, under a business, it is very difficult to get approval. Typically, business owners have to get home equity lines on their own homes and stuff like that, especially if the interest rate it is. I do still recommend applying for this loan if you need the cash. All right, we're gonna go to the next polling question. And I'm gonna look through the Q&A again. Here we go. So the question is, what is the current status of your business? All right. Do I have any idea what the turnaround time for the PPP and SBA funding is? So I have no idea what the turnaround time is. What I do know that I found out this morning is that the government wants lenders to be ready by this Friday to be ready to accept applications and process applications. So The PPP loan won't even be ready to apply for until this Friday. So SBA, I'm not sure how long it takes. I'm a one-person S corp, still working, but significantly reduced income. Stop my payroll for myself. Am I able to pay my bills no longer? Should I apply for unemployment or do PPP? I think you should apply for unemployment right away. And I don't know if you can backdate the unemployment. I'm not sure, but I'm sorry, I don't exactly know how mass unemployment works anymore. But you absolutely should. You need money. You're a business owner. Go apply for mass unemployment. Apply for the I guess you could apply for the emergency disaster loan, and I would still apply for the PPP. Absolutely, even though you're one person, it's fine. Back rent included the forgiveness. I'm not sure, Yuki. They're going to be reviewing financials. So if all of a sudden you jack up rent like for a couple of months, I'm not really sure. I am not going to really be discussing the sick and paid leave time. There's just too much to go over. I'm probably going to be doing webinars at least 3 other webinars this week going over this, and I'm going to revisit the paid leave again because I'm going to bring that up as a suggestion to do for businesses in a few minutes. But we're not going to go over that. It's just way too much information right now. We do have a saved webinar that you can access though that we can send you. I think it's on our website. So can you get forgiveness if all of your employees are on unemployment? Not technically. You have to have people you do have to be paying people to get any portion of forgiveness. So that's why we're recommending that even if it's just business owners putting themselves back on payroll when they get the proceeds of the loan. And then maybe some key employees because to be honest, some businesses might not be working or open right now, but there are things that businesses should be doing or at least working on to try to get their businesses working and think outside the box solutions here. You shouldn't just be, in my opinion, sitting on your thumb, like waiting for this to pass. You should be thinking that the whole economic environment is going to be completely different even when we get through this. So bringing in employees to help you implement new strategies for your business, that could be a way to get them working, helping with the business and paying them so more of your loan is forgivable. If my company is approved for a disaster loan, can they apply for the 7A? Kelly, I don't know if I answered your question already, but yes, but you cannot use the proceeds for both. If you run a nonprofit, do the federal unemployment for $600 a week if you don't so you don't contribute to unemployment. I believe you can because subcontractors are eligible for it, but I'm not positive. We can add that to a list of questions. That's a really good question though. Okay. I'm just if someone asks if your professional liability insurance is forgiven, my understanding it is not. The things I gave you that are forgiven are the ones that are forgiven. Trust me, I'd love it if our liability insurance was forgiven. That'd be great. Pay all my premiums right now. So does the 8 weeks start from the time you expect to receive the funds, or would I include my April 1 rent if I don't apply into this? It starts, the 8 weeks starts when you get the funds. So however you pay your rent is kind of up to you. We only have approximately 10 employees, but as of right now, hold on one second. Okay, are we done with how's the poll? Oh, did anybody start the polling?
Yep, the polling was started. We haven't gotten a ton of responses if you guys want to go ahead and throw your answers in there now.
Oh, the thing just didn't update on my end, that's all.
Everyone's too busy posting questions. A lot of questions.
No, it's good. I mean, it's good. Can you guys believe that I'm like getting tired from talking?
I can't because you cut me.
Oh, we're muting you again, Dad. It's my dad that just came in. Okay.
This is a no yelling webinar, Harry.
Yeah. There's 180 people on this, Dad. All right, can we end the polling? Share the results. Because I don't actually see them. I don't know what the results are, Amber. You're gonna have to tell me.
None worth sharing. Everybody, like Jake said, we're all just kind of answering the questions and going through those. I think that's the main focus.
Really? It says 143 voted. That's weird. Anyway, okay. I'll keep going. Okay. So what we know now, All right. The SBA and the IRS are going to have to rapidly build systems and processes to integrate processing to verify this payroll information. So for the applications, from what I was just told by an SBA lender, it's basically going to be keying in the information, and they're just going to, I don't think there's going to be a ton of underwriting going on with them. So they're basically just going to push them through and get funding. It's going to be on the back side where you have to provide the application for forgiveness, where they're really going to be drilling down and want a ton of information. But either way, all these banks and lenders have to get their systems ready. And also internally, as you can imagine, they're going to have like a huge influx of applications. So they need to build processes and internally in systems. What we do expect between 1 and 2 weeks for banks to be ready. I told you that they gave them till Friday to be ready. I will be shocked if most places are ready by Friday, unless you're like an SBA lender already and you are equipped for this. What we are recommending is you guys can see how complex this information is. It is not easy. I have read this information for days, and I still need clarification on a lot of aspects. We do not recommend, if you're going to go for one of these loans, that you do it on your own. Okay, the SBA lender will not have the time to handhold borrowers to walk them through the step-by-step process and analyze their payroll records. They just will not, and they don't really know how to be honest. It will be worth it. Now, we will be packaging and we will be charging fees to help people do this, but the amount of money that you could be getting versus if we prepare it and help you with it versus you doing it on your own could be tremendous, tens of thousands of dollars. It is worth it. This is not the time. I understand. I would never tell people to spend money right now unless it was absolutely necessary. This is a time where you don't want to try to cut costs on this kind of stuff. You need to let the professionals help you. We're here for a reason. That's why we're doing this night and day, is to help people. And you won't be able to rely on these lenders to handhold you through this and get the system and get your application enough. Also, as of right now, there is a limited amount of funds available for these loans. So if applications aren't in and processed as quickly as possible, there is a chance they could run out of money unless they extend this and do they talk about the third bill and adding more funds. So that's another reason why you don't really want to sit on this and go back and forth and try to figure this out on your own. That's just my spiel about that. For example, Charlie Baker on March 16th announced a $10 million loan, up to $75,000, $10 million fund, up to $75,000 per business. They quote unquote sold out of that within 3 days. So this is the entire country going after these loans at once. That's just my food for thought. So what options? So these are the kind of steps that we kind of put together. What can you do now? Okay, so the PPP loans aren't available to apply for. If you go for the emergency disaster loan, like what do you get? That's not going to be for a little while. So available now, unemployment. If you don't have work for people and you don't have money coming in, lay them off, put them on unemployment. Put yourself on unemployment if you've been paying into the unemployment system, or apply within the federal part. There are paid family leave and employer credits available. Again, that's an entirely different webinar that we can do. Those are available. They start April 1st. That might also be a really good option for people that have to keep working and they have to have their staff working, but you want to take advantage of it, because you could pay them during that interim through the paid family leave. And then when you get your funds from the PPP, start paying them through that. And the employer credits are 100%, it's a 100% employer credit. And those are also kind of complex. Get cash wherever possible to hold you over. So if you have a personal line of credit, tap it, you're gonna have to use that as cash. If you have existing lines of credit, contact the banks and see if they'll do an increase. There's also banks that are doing 0% credit cards right now for 20 months. Rockland Trust down the street from me, Donna Healy, they're offering 0% for 20 months business and personal credit cards. Do I advise you to always go on credit cards? No, but if you need things, you're gonna need them right now. And always, one of the first things you should do when you're going through all this stuff is cut and reduce any expenses that are not essential to operate your business or do not make you money. So if you're going through them, if they do not make you money or they are not essential to operate your business, you should be cutting them. I also have another thing to say. I know people are panicked right now with how to get through this time period right now. It's obviously incredibly important, But what you should also be doing is looking at the long term. Unfortunately, if you're in a position where you have no cash and you can't even get through 1 or 2 weeks of payroll right now because all this stuff happened, you have a problem within your business that you need to address. That problem is you should be setting aside money for emergency funds, paying yourself first, reducing and cutting expenses. There's things that you can do now. This is the perfect time. Why not? You have extra time. There's program like you to start setting your business up so that you're looking at the long term, not just the next 2 months and getting through the next 2 months, because you need to actually survive a lot longer than that, as we know. And just getting loans is not the entire answer at all. We have packages that profit advisory packages that we're offering too through all this stuff. And I know, again, you don't want to spend the money, but the amount of money you could save and cut by having us help you and guide you, because we've been doing this, is invaluable. So those are my suggestions for that. And also, what I didn't put in here is if you are applying or expect to apply for the emergency disaster loan and you really, really need that money now, try to get, I mean, if you're applying for it, you might as well just get the $10,000 thing up front, and then it's just going to take away from your forgiveness on the PPP side. So what we're recommending next for people to do, because we don't have the loan applications ready, or they're not ready yet, is just start gathering information to be ready as soon as possible. Gathering payroll records going back to last year, prior, I don't know exactly what they're going to ask for, but prior year tax returns for the business and entity and all the owners. Really important is have your bookkeeping up to date and accurate. This is really going to be important, especially when you have to prove these expenses that you're spending. So one of our suggestions is also add a new account or accounts to your bookkeeping and your chart of accounts to start categorizing these expenses, the COVID related expenses properly. So you're going to have COVID rent, COVID payroll, wages. And also what we're recommending is that people open up a separate bank account to deposit the loan funds into and pay the COVID related expenses out of. Because again, this will just simplify and make things easier for you when you have to prove all these expenses.
We have some requests for the polling results, if we can pop that in at some point.
Absolutely. Give me 1 second.
I don't think the polling results went through. They're all showing 0.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't share it. We did have 143 people voted. If I can get that information, pull it off of Zoom somehow, I'll be happy to share that information when we send the follow-up email with all the slides and things of that nature. 143 people did vote, but it's showing a 0% for all of them on our end. So we'll share it if we can get that information out.
Oh, Kenny Semkin said that what you just shared had results. Maybe we just can't see it.
Oh, okay, great. If you don't mind sharing the,
The last one you just popped up did.
Okay, I did. I guess maybe just for us, for the co-hosts, Amber.
So what is the current status of your business due to COVID-19? We have 14%. We are open and running smoothly. 48%. We are open, but business has slowed down significantly. And 38%. We are currently closed.
So I'm going to go through some of the questions, and we're going to, in a minute, open this up in a minute. But actually, no, I'm going to finish my slide thing. So we're here to help. Like I said, we're helping our clients, and we're open to businesses. To be clear, we are charging for services to help our clients. Obviously, we have some clients that will discuss things with you, but just like you, we have a business to run, and this is a lot of extra work. We're actually kind of putting tax season on hold, but it's really just necessary for us to. If I didn't have to charge, we wouldn't, but we do. It's a lot of work that's involved, but we are here to help do it. We're very familiar with this information now, and we're there. So you can follow us on social media. We also, that new Facebook group I told you guys about, the Straight Lines Business Owner Survival Guide. We're gonna basically streamline everything in there. Q&A sessions, like I said, a couple times a week with some B2B people, B2B experts, like marketing company, financial advisors, stuff like that. And also some Q&A sessions with some industry professionals like restaurant owners or contractors that have been through recessions in the past, but still very successful businesses, to kind of help others with that. We're fully staffed. We are all working remotely. I'm at the office right now, but everybody's working remotely. We have phones. Our phones are fully functional, as well as our email, so you can call or email us. and we are available. Our brand new website just went live yesterday, and you can schedule, right now we're doing a free 30-minute consult for the next 30 days. Be patient, because we've had a ton of, inquiries lately, obviously. Be patient with us. We are still a small business and trying to weed through it all by studying all this stuff and getting back to clients and figuring out plans to help people. So we will get back to you as soon as we can, and we are here to help. You just got to be patient with us. All right.
A common question in here, Erin, is how the federal unemployment gets applied for.
I don't know.
Okay.
My
So that's
understanding,
something
my understanding is you do it through the state. That's one of the questions we have to really look into, because none of us knew that, because this all just came out, like I said, last Friday night. So most of these, since this came out Friday night, it's Monday, most of these systems haven't even been updated for it. Unemployment rate. So this is actually one of the first things I brought up when all this disaster happened. As you guys know, if you're in Massachusetts, our unemployment rates they're huge. They can go up to about 15% on the first $15,000 in wages. That's about $2,200, $2,300 per employee per year. And I'm really hoping that they either freeze the unemployment rates for this time period, or they cap them at like maybe just saying a max of 2% increase based on your current rate. I don't really know, but the state has been pretty silent on anything to do with tax or businesses, to be perfectly honest. So we don't know what they're going to do. Okay.
Looks like we have about 14 open questions
All right.
left.
Erin, can you go over what we've to this point come up with for a process as far as what to file for first, as far as the loans versus state unemployment and all that? We're getting a few of those, like people are kind of confused as to what route to go.
All right. So if you have no work and you have no money coming in, go on unemployment. Get your stuff together to apply for the PPP loan. I didn't put this in here, but you can start the application as well for the disaster loan as well. And once you apply, you could request that $10,000 advance, or up to $10,000 advance. Then what you can also do, if you don't want to go on unemployment for whatever reason, or you're still working or whatever, there's a paid family leave and employer credits that's available too. That's basically, it kind of depends on a case by case basis. Those are my suggestions though. That's what I'm suggesting. Someone asked, do we have to hire back the same employees? No. I don't think they have to, actually, I don't think they have to be the same employee. I didn't actually see that. I don't know. That's a really good question.
I haven't seen anything on that either. I feel like it's just the amount of wages.
I haven't seen it, the same employees. I haven't seen that. That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Okay, you can increase the number of employees, Hans. Yeah. That will, you can absolutely increase the number of employees. Yeah, they want you to do that. If you get both the EIDL and 7A, okay, so if you get both the EIDL and the 7A loans, but you do not have the same level of employees to get forgiveness from 7A payroll, can you pay the payroll from, well, you can still pay the payroll from the PPP loan. It just won't be entirely forgiven. Anna, sorry. If I bring on new 1099 contractors to work for us during this virus situation, some of which will have come in the past 2 weeks, can I count them on the loan amount? I believe so, but I'm not positive. Can someone write that down as a question to ask?
Yes, ma'am.
Erin, if you apply for the EIDL loan, is the grant part of the application? We don't know. We actually were discussing that this morning in the group of accountants, how you actually apply for that grant. We don't know, Holly. I will ask my SBA lady to see if she knows. Let's see, for rental property owners, if tenants are not able to pay rent, is our only recourse for relief through our mortgage companies. Yeah, so right now there is no, Atanya, there is no guidance on rental property owners, which I won't be surprised if maybe the fourth bill, that like they didn't discuss partnerships, if they don't discuss rental property owners, because obviously the next people, you know, you guys, you're going to be one of the ones hurting because people aren't paying rent. So I don't know what they're doing about rental property owners. It's actually one of my mother's big questions too. They own a lot of rental properties.
There's a lot of legal stuff that comes into play with that too. So
yeah. Can you apply for forgiveness if you lay off all your employees? No, but let's say, so the question was, can you apply for forgiveness if you lay off all your employees and just use it for the other expenses? No, you can't. But let's say, Holly, let's say, for example, you only paid one person last year on payroll for the past 12 months. You have an average of one employee. I know you're a small business. Let's say if that's the case. And that person wants to stay on unemployment because you really don't have time to bring them back. But you could put yourself on payroll. And then you're basically 100% because you only had one employee and you're paying yourself now. You're considered an employee. So that would make the loan 100% forgivable, to my understanding. Sole proprietor, no employees, shut down, came in low gross income 2019 tax. How do I apply for the federal unemployment? Again, I'm not positive. We're gonna try to hash that out about how to apply for the federal unemployment, and be sure to follow us in that group, and I will absolutely be posting that there.
We did actually, Brian Hines on here did share a link with us
Okay.
for how to file unemployment. And it does look like it is through the state. So we'll provide some guidance in that group.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Allison, if we owe 17 grand in taxes for 2019, and we also need to pay our quarterlies, how should we pay them now or wait till July? So how quarterlies are working for 2020 quarterlies, there's estimated payments. The April 15th quarterly, the estimated tax payment is delayed until, it's not due until July 15th of 2020, but the quarterly payments due on, the estimated payments due on June 15th, 2020 are still due June 15th, 2020, as of right now. I don't know if they'll delay them, but you do what you can basically right now. But here's what I do recommend. There's a lot of things out there saying you can delay this, you can delay that. There's actually provision in this bill that lets you delay paying in federal payroll tax. I didn't even bring it up because I think it's a stupid idea. Okay, that's a way for you to get yourself in a lot of trouble to defer payroll taxes. Other costs that you can defer, people are allowing you to defer. They will become due at some point. You will have to pay them. If you can pay your bills now, pay your bills now. Don't defer them. If you can't and you can only pay portions, set up an account and set aside money for these payments. A lot of restaurants have don't have to pay meals tax until I forget what the date is, July 15th or something. I mean, granted, they're not open or something like that, but they are selling to-go food. Don't just sit on that cash and spend it. Put the money away. It will become due. You do not want to all of a sudden hit July 15th or 20th, whenever it's due, and have 3 months worth of meals tax to pay and you have no money. Okay, that goes with anything that you're deferring. Please either set aside money to pay it or pay it if you can afford it. That's my personal opinion. All right, so would you folks prepare application because to be printed to our local bank loan, or will you folks submit right to SBA? We have discussion with other bankers. So what we were gonna do for like the disaster loans is do the entire thing and submit for our clients. Which we still can do. We still have that option. If you guys want to apply for the disaster loans, we can still prepare everything for you. We have packages set up we can provide to you if you want that information. For the PPP loan, what my thought is, we prepare the entire thing and we submit it to the lender themselves and help be the go-between our client and the lender for when they have questions, because that's the best idea we have. That's to answer Mark's question. Are owner distributions included in the payroll calculations? No, but those are, I'm assuming you're S corps. I don't know about 1065s, which would be guaranteed payment. Kelly, so Kelly, if you want to set up a 30-minute consult, I'd rather answer those questions over the phone because it's specific to yourself. If you're not getting money in, but you're still working, I mean, go file for unemployment. I think all small business owners are probably still working, quote unquote, but not making any money. That's what the unemployment there is for. many employees work at remote locations, such as within dealerships. If the dealership closes, we don't have any work for those employees. We put them on unemployment. Yeah, you put them on unemployment, and it will count if you don't have them hired back by the time you start using the funds. Oh, by the way, so let's say you apply for this loan and you get the proceeds May 1st, let's just say. You have until June 30th to hire people back, just to let you know. If you don't hire people back by June 30th, then it's all out the window. You don't get any forgiveness. That makes any sense? So like, let's say you apply for it May 1st and you're able to defer when you receive the funds, so that you can be more operable. As of right now, how it stands is you have to hire your employees back by June 30th. So it will, if they're on unemployment, it will count against you for the PPP loan, for the forgiveness section of it, because they're not working unless you hire them back. The EIDL is not forgiven. It's the PPP under the 7A, SBA 7A. Emily, can you use a $10,000 advance for payroll and also then forgiveness on the PPP expenses? You can use a $10,000 advance for the payroll, but that's through the EIDL, so it will not be forgiven. But it's a good segue to use between now and the time you get the PPP 7A loan. If that makes any sense. Where do you apply for the EIDL loan? The SBA website. I think I answered Irene's question. So no forgiveness on any expenses if I don't hire employees back within the time period. My understanding is no. You have to. The whole idea is to keep people employed. Again, that's why, like, if you're an owner of a business and you really have no work for people to do, at least put yourself on payroll during that time. So you can do it. I applied for the disaster loan last week and received an email that is in review. I laid off my employees. Can I apply? Yes, you can, Bob. You can still apply for the PPP loan. Doesn't the 8 weeks have to be completed by June 30th? No, I don't think it does. The applications stop at June 30th. Because what if you don't get the funds, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like this is all going to get pushed out.
I think the dates are going to get pushed out based on the information we heard today. So the payroll tax credits start actually April 1st. It was April 2nd, it's April 1st. Should owners apply if our next period is after April 2nd? I mean, honestly, the unemployment sounds really good. So it depends on how high your payroll is. So payroll tax credits start, should owners apply for unemployment if our next period is after April 2nd? I mean, if you're the owner, you can make the pay period whatever you want it to be. If that makes sense. Melissa, we might need to talk further. How are we to keep people on payroll if we're not able to open? You can rehire them once you receive the money back from the loan. So you can put them on unemployment now, and then you can rehire them when you receive the funds from the PPP loan. That's how you can pay them. Julie. I own my own building, but my business as an S corp pays me rent. This is a question I had actually. Should I pay my rent or defer payments until I get the PPP loan? What we're recommending is just pay your bills like you normally would. You might want to increase your rent a little bit to cover some of the expenses, since I'm assuming the building pays like some of the utilities. But as of right now, we can't really tell you to wait and delay payments. That's not something we can really tell you to do. But if you don't have the money to pay it, then defer it and wait to pay it. Where do you apply for the PPP loan? You can't yet. It has to go through third-party lenders, and we are available to assist with that with third-party lenders, and they're not even available to Friday at the earliest. If I'm an owner, also receive W-2. Sorry. I'll also receive a W-2, one employee who went on unemployment. If I don't hire her back, but I'm paying myself payroll, can I get forgiveness? Yes, you can. But if you had 2 employees, like for the look back period to compare it to, oh my God, there's a lot more questions. 50% forgiveness, I guess. That's Anna's question. I think I already answered Irene's question. Yes, one is the car stereo and was forced to close. My other stores, we have mortgage or classified essential, Wi-Fi management automation.
Oh, he was, I think it's the same guy. He's got 2 locations. I was just trying to clarify if he had 2 separate entities or if they're under one tax ID.
Oh, it goes by tax ID. Sean Hanlon, if you're closed via state requirements like a salon, what would you recommend for filing for the PPP? We can't bring employees back until the state says we can. So we brought this up earlier in the conversation. We think they're going to extend the, or allow you to choose when to get the funds. So yeah, I still recommend applying because there's going to be, for the PPP, like I said, there's a cap on the available funds to issue for these PPP loans by the government. It's like 345 billion. So it will be used up. So apply right away. But we think there might be an option to defer getting the funds till later on. It's not available yet, but we think it might be an option. Either way, I still think you should. You could pay yourself. Or like I said, you can pay if you're an S Corp owner, put yourself on payroll, bring back some essential employees to help you work through the business issues, all that stuff.
Yeah, this is really just a piece to a much bigger puzzle. So getting financing and getting funds and having cash available right now that's step 1. Step 2 is the planning of what you're going to do with that cash. You're going to pay people, pay overhead, do all of that stuff. And then you really want to have a plan in place for incorporating the PPP loan, unemployment, and the EIDL if you're going to go that route. So that's what it's, if you're closed, stay closed, and then there's other options available, but yeah.
All right, so at the beginning of the webinar, you stated not to apply for these loans or on fear of applying for the wrong loans. It could eventually cause us to go bankrupt. Is it safe to apply for the EIDL loan through their website or still go through the bank? So I guess what I meant is don't just, what was happening is people were just saying certain loans on Facebook or wherever else are forgivable and these are the ones that you should apply for. Sorry, I don't know what that question was. I don't remember the rest of that question. You can apply for the emergency disaster loan and you can apply for the PPP loan. I just want people to understand what each loan means and what's forgivable, what's not, and all that stuff that goes into it. That's why I kind of gave that warning ahead of time.
The question was, is it safe to apply for the EIDL loan through their website or still go through a bank?
Oh, so the EIDL the EIDL loan is through the SBA website. It is not through a bank. This PPP 7A loan will be through a bank. Do we need to go ahead and contact the bank, get on a waiting list? I don't know. That's why we're reaching out to every bank contact we know right now to see how they want to handle it. Which is why we're trying to be the go-between for our clients and the business community in general, because hopefully we can, if you have to wait to hear back from a banker, good luck kind of thing. Sole proprietor, no employees. I'm applying for unemployment for personal bills. What is my best option to help with my business expenses, rent, utilities? I have never taken a salary. You might want to have to apply for, you can do the unemployment and then, I don't know your tax situation. You might qualify for the PPP for forgiveness. You could apply for the EIDL loan. So it really depends on your personal tax situation. Susan. Thanks, Shelby. Shelby says, US Bank has on their website just an inquiry form, only bank I have found. Thanks.
So it looks like all of the questions are answered if you want to do some last minute or ending items.
Yeah, so do we request specific amount of the loans or Allison, you might have missed the beginning part of the loan. There's a calculation for the loan amount. It all has to do with payroll, 250% of the payroll, all that stuff. So we're going to record this webinar. I think you probably should rewatch it because we go over the calculation of the loan amounts. Do we have to take 250% of the cost for the PPP or can we choose to take less? I mean, I don't know, but what's the harm in having the money and setting it aside? And if it's not part of the forgiven, you can always just pay it. There's no prepayment penalty or just having cash available. I don't like debt, but I do like having cash when you need it. Is the EIDL loan grant you can apply for separately or is it going in conjunction with another loan? The EIDL loan is separate. It's the the Economic Emergency Disaster Loan. It is through the SBA website. The grant is something you apply for after you, or request after you apply for the EIDL loan. Again, we're going to make this webinar, the slides which some of this information's on to go over so you guys can reference it again. I know we went over a lot of information. So I just want to, last thing is just say, I know a lot of you again are trying to save money, I'm not trying to harp on you to have hire a professional do this, but if at all hire a professional to take care of this. A lot of accountants like us are offering very, very, very flexible payment options. We understand people can't just come up with money out of the blue. You want to make sure you maximize these loans and get the most that you can. And then also on the flip side, you also want to make sure that you're getting the most forgivable that you can. So like Jake said, it's one piece of a puzzle. There's a lot that goes into it, planning, maximizing expenses and stuff like that. So we are here for you. I know there's I have other accountants that are doing it as well. So that's just my suggestion. I don't really have anything else to say right now.
Sure.
Thank you all so much. It looks like 90% of the people that were here to begin with are still here now. So we appreciate your hour and a half of your time and, taking out the time. This matters. It's going to help you. It's going to help your business. And the more information we can get out to you to help, the better. So don't be afraid to reach out with any questions. And
go, seriously, go follow us on Facebook or that Facebook group. It's going to be constant, and we're going to just, like I said, try to do Q&A sessions. People can ask questions live and stuff like that. We really, really appreciate it. We actually really, really do care about our clients and the business community. This is really important to us. It's hitting home hard for us. So we're just trying to do whatever we can to take care of, whoever we can and inform everybody however we can. So thank you for attending. And I will be hosting more webinars this week, probably on those employer credits, and then doing this again later on in the week so that we can get almost like an updated version of it as well. So if you know anybody, please share this information with them so they can also attend. Are we
Still
good?
getting some questions coming in.
All right, yeah, you can keep we'll keep it open so people have questions. We can try to weed it out. Stephanie, yes, the presentation will be available video, and we're gonna have the thanks Diane. Thanks, Bob. Amanda, I miss you too. Julie, thanks, Julie. Julie, you can email us at info@straightline.com. You can Facebook us. You can send smoke signals. You know where we are. Thanks, Robert. We appreciate it. Thank you, Frank. Thanks, Anita. Oh, thanks, Nanette. Thanks, Kim, Michael, Reza, Brian, Michael. I seriously never thought I would get tired of talking. Thank you, Erin and Irene. Thanks, Brian. Someone came to my door as a single, only independent contractor. What? Thanks, Ruth. Thanks, Jen. And if we're just waiting in case there's any other questions.
Did we answer Corey's question yet?
Corey, no, I don't. There's a Corey question. About what? 1099s?
Yeah, that have like recently hired the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I said put added to the list. And we're able to pull up these question and answers and go through them, guys. So if we somehow missed you, we'll be able to go through them, pull up a report, and get back to you directly.
Erin, did you give a response to Gigi?
Oh, not yet. Do we have them apply for unemployment? What would be eligible for them to help with personal expenses? So independent contractors are only eligible to apply for the federal portion of the unemployment. I mean, I definitely recommend that. You can't really pay for them. Eligible to help for personal expenses. Well, there's actually a section, code 139 for disaster expenses, but those I think are specifically just for employees, where you can pay tax-free to the individual and deductible by the business. It's a section 139, and you could pay for like things like home office, childcare, actually, stuff like that. But I don't know if it's applicable to subcontractors. I think it's just employees. I mean, honestly, Gigi, right now, you could put them on, you could tell them to go that federal unemployment, and then I don't know how much money you make and stuff like that. But like I said to another person, just try to keep your keep your spending low and keep your cash in the bank. So it's nice that you want to help people with personal expenses, but I don't know. The unemployment rate, Heather, I did address this. We don't know. I'm hoping that they either freeze it or they cap it. The state has been completely silent on most things to do with businesses.
Useless, you mean?
Useless. Yeah. So we have no idea what they'll be doing. Honestly, knowing the state's history, they're not going to cap it or freeze it. I mean, you know, all the taxes, I'm assuming, that have gone between the EMAC, the PFML, all this stuff. I have a feeling they're not going to freeze the rates. I hope they do.
I think they've done all they're gonna do, but who knows? Maybe they'll add some more stuff. But
I'm hoping they at least just like cap it, like you can't go up more than 2% or something, where your audit rate is or something. I don't really know.
If anybody else has any, we're down to about 50 people. So if anyone has a specific question, they want to hit that raise hand button, we'd be happy to let you guys talk. Yes, Stephen, we will be taking appointments. If you want to just reach out to us.
When we, on our website, where you can fill out a form to request an appointment, and we will have a direct booking link very shortly, like hopefully by.
It's actually already on the website.
Sorry?
It's actually already on the website.
Oh.
So we'll throw it up there.
Oh, our team is so great.
We're moving quick.
You can go on our website, straightline.com. Someone wants to put a thing there, and then well, I don't know what the words I was just saying. And go do an appointment. Thanks, Steve. Hi, Dave.
Hey, I was wondering if you heard anything about money that's supposed to be earmarked for the commercial fishing industry?
We haven't heard anything that's specific to any industries in particular, unless you own an airline.
Absolutely.
All right.
So basically, this is just applicable to all businesses. So unfortunately, no guidance on specific industries.
Well, that's fine. I need to make an appointment anyways because I file a Schedule C for my fishing business and my plumbing business. So.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks for attending. Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
All right. We still got some people on. Anybody else have still questions? We are, like I said, our Facebook group. I can put the.
Hi, Nicole.
Can I put the link somewhere?
Nicole, you're live.
Oh, sorry, Nicole.
Sorry. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. So I am I'm an S Corp now as of January 2020, but for years had been just a sole proprietor. So I'm on the payroll as of January 2020. So I just don't know how that applies for me to apply for unemployment and all of that.
So did you have it? You did? It's just you? Like you don't have employees?
Oh, I have staff. Oh, no, I've had employees that I've paid on the payroll for years.
Oh, well then you're good. So basically it's okay. It's just gonna go, when you elected S Corp, did you have the same tax ID? Were you an LLC before and you just elected
Yes.
S Corp?
Yes, that's what I am.
Oh, okay. So
LLC.
you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's just gonna go off of the 12 months, past 12 months. it will, you know, some of it, obviously you personally were not paid through all of it, but your other employees will be. So it's just going to calculate based on what you paid your other employees. And then you can still pay yourself on the employees, on the, continue paying yourself on the payroll as well. And that will be forgiven. Does that answer your question?
Okay, yeah, and then I can still apply for unemployment, even though it's only the past 3 months, really?
Yes.
Okay,
As long
Yeah,
as
like
you,
as the owner, you're probably not going to get like a huge amount
right.
like through the state, but the feds, you'll get that 600.
as
Right.
long as you've been, well, yes, for the feds. For state, you do have to still meet the requirement threshold. So that's 5,100 over the last 4 calendar quarters.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as long as since January, you've been making, that. So.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Nicole. Is Caesar? Caesar.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Hey, Caesar.
Hey, I have a question.
Okay.
My business hasn't slowed down as far as like I haven't let anybody off or anything like that. But on the loans that we mentioned about the SBA, am I able to apply for both of those loans?
Yes.
Perfect.
So as an example, we are similar to you where we haven't laid anybody off. Like obviously you're in the shipping industry, like the delivery industry, and you're in high demand right now. So are we. We're still applying because no matter what, we're still affected by this. Do you know what I mean? And like so yes,
Right.
you are, yes, yep. Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'll be making a call later to set
All right.
something up. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Caesar. Yeah, thank you.
Trying to think if there's anything else we should go over.
Peter
There's-
Murphy wants to talk. Let's get him to talk. I can't, for some reason, I can't get Pete talking. Peter. Oh, where did he go? Somebody remove Peter.
Can you hear me?
Hey, Pete.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. Great job. I appreciate what you guys are doing.
Thanks, Pete.
I just did it. I sent a message through your website. I was just wondering how long it would take or how long should I expect to wait before someone gets to me from your office?
Get back to you.
Yes.
Just by tomorrow, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you're one of the first people. You're one of the
Obviously, we're all anxious, and I know you guys are probably so busy, and I don't want to hound you. I just wanted to get an idea if it was a day or a week or whatever.
Well, what we're probably going to do is we don't know what's going to be required, but we do have we have a standard client, like a new client onboarding process that we do just like in normal circumstances where we need to get a bunch of information from people. So for people that are reaching out, we're going to most likely ask you to start getting us that information, start gathering, because gathering the information is really going to take me the longest. What was that?
I made a list. I made a list, payroll records, 2019 tax returns.
We'll give you a very specific list.
All right.
We'll do that. So that's pretty much, I mean, we probably won't end up doing the 30-minute consult until we have, for new clients, until we have some of the documentation that we're requesting ahead of time, because it's going to be really hard to talk about things in a hypothetical situation. We're going to get off this call. We're going to talk about the list that we need.
We're still on the financing, the big piece. That's still up in the air. So
for those, there's a question about taxes that's on hold. Andrew, I don't know which Andrew you are. We're not putting tax filing on hold. We're prioritizing tax filing. So filing 2019 personal returns. We're also looking at the individual rebate. And also, if you are a business owner that wants to apply for this, we're probably going to be trying to get your personal return done as soon as possible if it's necessary for the thing, but we will be prioritizing. But if a client really wants their return filed right away, we absolutely will make time to do it. That's not going to be, we're just trying to shift our priorities and be realistic about some things. So
Yeah.
if you want your
Yep.
return, we'll do it. Yeah. Start uploading your documents to the client center, please, Andrew.
All right, we have
Art.
Art is here, so you should be able to speak now, Art. You still with us?
Yes, I am.
There you
Hey,
are.
Art.
Yeah. Hi guys, how are you?
How you doing?
Yeah.
Good, good. I'm sure I'm gonna talk to you later on, guys. I hope so when you have time.
Absolutely.
But I have a question. So Aaron, a lot of my guys are 1099 basis. When we apply for the loan, so it seems like we can include those people in this loans, right?
We can include their totals paid.
Totals paid.
Yes, not payments made, like if they're an entity, like only if they're paid to, kind of like the PFML thing, like they have to be an individual. So my understanding is you can't, like if it's an entity, you can't include those. But if they're individual, like you just have a couple, guys who 1099, they can be included in the counts, yes. Whereas the forgiveness portion though, I am not clear is if you pay those people during when you receive the funds, if they're counted as an employee account. We have to find that out to make sure. I'm assuming because you're counting them in the original count that they'd be part of like the count for the forgivable, but I honestly am not positive on that at all.
So
we will find out.
So in our company, we have another situation. What happens is our work didn't slow down, but the payments coming to us, it slowed down.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So we still doing the work, we still having jobs going on, but people are really slow paying us because they holding the money back. They're thinking, oh, we don't know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So we have that one problem. And another problem we have that a lot of guys are afraid of coming to work. So they're requesting or put them on unemployment.
Yeah.
So there's a human factor in there, like, okay, if I say no, what will happen, right? What if they get sick or something? Well, is this a legal issue or not? Second of all is, okay, there's a human factor. I can let them go and, put them on employment, but I have work to be done and I can't finish it. So can I put some of these people on employment and then hire someone else? I just thought it's like a little bit of confusing right now.
I don't know. Okay, so I think there's two aspects to what you're asking. One of the aspects is like more of an HR legal issue versus, and like, I don't know if your industry is considered, I don't know like specifically what you're doing on these jobs is considered like the essential versus non-essential and how that's handled HR wise. My understanding is you can hire whomever you want as long as they're legally able to work given the circumstances, but we can put you in touch with, do you remember Teresa Barbadoro? She hosted some of the events with us. She's an attorney.
Yes.
These might be really good questions for her because I think like I couldn't answer those for you. It might be worth it to ask her because I understand what you're saying. But if I just don't know what to tell. I don't know what you do in that circumstances given the current environment.
Well, it's just coming up. So we're looking at each other. Everybody's like, okay, well, what do we do now? So what's happening?
I mean, you have work to be done. So technically on unemployment, if you have work to be done, people aren't supposed to be able to apply for unemployment because you have work to be done. But I don't know if you're allowed to make them work right now because of the essential, non-essential. I don't know. You're like, what? I don't know that.
That's the whole thing is if we can make them to work or not. What if something happens?
We
right?
can give you Teresa's number. That's like the best. I don't know what to tell you. And she knows that side. I know that because she's emailed me about a couple things, but I don't know what to tell you there.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And then I definitely would like to go ahead and work with you guys on that. Loan
Thank you.
I don't know. Maybe I'll call you later on and talk to Eric or one of you guys. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, no, well, we're going to be, we have childcare only till 3, so I'm leaving soon, but someone will be available to take calls and help you and get everything squared away. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you very much. It's a lot ahead.
Thank you so much. Thanks for attending. All right. We still got 37 people. Anybody else? I don't have the Q&A up. Do we have more questions?
It looks like we have, will we be able to see all the question and answers when this is over? If so, will the ones that were answered live have the questions included? I do not believe that we'll be sharing the question and answers, but if you have a specific question, they can go ahead and email us, Erin.
We might do. We haven't figured that out yet. I guess it depends on that, because some of the questions are redundant with the presentation itself. Some of the really important ones, like how to apply for unemployment, and like the ones that we don't know the answers to, we will put together something about that as soon as we have the answers, for sure. Andrew, I wasn't sure about your last statement there. Okay, who else do we still?
Andrew, I'm going to go ahead and allow you to talk in case you do have any further questions. I do know that you had a couple statements in there. I wasn't sure if you actually had anything to ask. You're unmuted, Andrew.
Maybe he's shy. What Andrew is this? Andrew who?
That's
Is
what I
that
was
Andy
wondering.
Amaral?
Andrew Amaral?
Is it somebody else? I don't know.
Maybe we'll never know.
Andrew, if that is Andrew Amaral, I know you've been on Jake's radar. I know that. I feel like it. I feel like I hear your name.
All right. Well, if nobody else
All right.
has anything, we don't have
All right.
anything in the Q&A and no one's raising their hand, so.
We're good? Thanks, guys. Thanks for being, 2-hour webinar.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.